Hello, everybody. This is a special today. My name is Miriam Thiel-Alberts. This is Animal Wisdom Stories special because today we are channeling messages from animals. Today we have the cat, and it's about what do the animals want us to know. So I'm here with Melia Brent-White, all the way from Australia, meeting me here in cyberspace. Hello and welcome, Melia.
Thanks, Miriam. It's so wonderful to be here with you.
It's I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know all the messages. Just a few sort of sentences to Melia. Melia is an animal communicator. You're a BodyTalk practitioner, an animal balancing practitioner. Is that how you call it? Reiki Master, and many more certified roles that you have, but today we're talking to the animal communicator, Melia. So welcome here.
Thanks, Miriam.
Some of you might be wondering why we're doing this. First of all, what are we doing? We're doing a 10-week special where each time we're channeling messages from different animals or animal groups or nature, on the question, what would nature or animals, what would they like us to know? And this started when we were talking for my podcast, and we thought it would be a really nice idea. And so this is why we're doing it. And also, I mean, I'm doing this because when I started animal communication, my horse asked me to be the voice for the animals that don't have a voice. So this is for me kind of, doing that, bringing those messages out and sharing. And maybe it can reach somebody that would like to hear what the animals are saying. What about you, Melia?
Part of my job on a daily basis is helping to awaken my own consciousness and the consciousness of others, just through noticing and increasing awareness. And I feel that sharing these messages has the power to do that in a different way. And I also, I like being brave. I like sticking my neck out and daring to share. And I think this podcast and connecting with everyone that's listening, if I can inspire one other person to dare to share their own experiences or to step into their becoming more comfortable with who they are and living their truth, I think that's a wonderful thing. We can all uniquely shine in our own humanity and also help our animals to shine as well.
I was surprised because I asked who, whatever cat wanted to come and share a message. And I was, again, I get surprised often when I get those messages, how caring these messages are, how wise they are. I mean, I know I'm doing a podcast on animal wisdom, animal wisdom stories, but did you have the same experience when you were picking up these messages?
I did, Miriam.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
So how do we want to start? Would you like to just jump in and share one message that you picked up from a cat?
Sure. So initially I just invited in whichever cat wanted to come forward to share the first message. And it was a lilac-coloured Persian cat with yellow eyes. She said her name's Delilah, and I've never met her personally. But if she's your cat, please send Miriam and myself a message and tell us all about Delilah. Anyway, this is her message that she said. Do you see me running? Only when I need to take action. Yes, there is time for decisive action, and the rest of the time I rest and enjoy myself. remind yourself of the skill of basking, soaking in yourself. It will do you good.
I love that. I absolutely love that. This is what cats do. I mean, they lie and then sleep for 20 hours and then they get busy. And today I took a nap this morning, and feeling like I shouldn't be, I should be doing something. But then on the other side, feeling it's that sweet feeling when you kind of just let go and you sort of dive into that relaxation and into this other kind of sphere or dimension. So yeah, and I think it could be, if we all honored our need to rest and our need to kind of slow down at times, there would be maybe less aggression a little bit. Maybe there would be less annoyance. So yeah.
Yeah, and I do feel animals and nature, they're encouraging us to live more sustainably and more holistically with ourselves and nature's cycles. And even I've been noticing in myself, living within cycles can be a bit difficult because it involves expansion and contraction. It involves the ending of things. And we've got to get better at coping with the ending of things and the beginning of things. So that I felt that message tied in with that for me. It's actually like slow down and just bask. I actually had an image of like the basking shark. There's those sharks that
Okay.
they're called a basking shark, and that's the basking, because it's such an unusual word. Like even in English, basking's quite an unusual word, but it's not that common a word. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was a beautiful message that tied in with honoring ourselves and honoring nature's cycles.
So when cats are basking on the sofa, they are actually not wanting us to, they don't want to annoy us with their laziness. They're showing us what it looks like to take proper care of yourself.
Exactly.
So I like that. I picked up a message from a cat that I don't know either. And first, when I started channeling this message, I could see where this cat was living. And this is in a forest in Denmark. And the cat's name, he said, is Moody. I don't know any cat called Moody, but it's like it was a brown, fluffy cat and looking a bit rugged. And he said to me, my life is not always perfect. I have to fight to survive a lot. But I love it, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I chose this life, and it gives me more than I can give back. You don't know when looking at a life from the outside how it fits their being. So I would say, stop comparing and start living. Follow your heart and pause to the sunrise that makes your heart open.
That's such a beautiful message, Miriam. And I was having thoughts today about how we live life by taking action and conscious action and taking conscious action for ourselves and for what we're wanting to work towards, and just enjoying life through applying ourselves, whether that's to basking or actually doing something. And I feel that message ties in perfectly with those thoughts that I was having earlier today around that. Like there are some spiritual practices where, every moment you're in connection with God, even when you are working. And it kind of feels like that with Moody, even though life's difficult for him, there's just that deep interconnection with life in every moment.
And it ties back in for me into this, I have to get somewhere. I'm having a hard time to kind of let go of that thought that's sort of implanted in me, when I was very young, that you need to, it's like this, you get somewhere, you get something. You know, when you are very good at something, you get good grades, you get attention or something like that. So you always have to do something, you always have to go somewhere, and it always has to fit in with the big picture. And with this homeless cat that chooses to live in the forest and is so happy, I felt like, okay, we don't know. Sometimes we look from the outside at somebody's life and we think, well, that's great, or that's not great, but we actually don't know what is really, you know, going on for the people. And the same for me. You know, I might look at my life and think it's perfect, or I might look at my life thinking it's not perfect at all, and I need to, you know, do and attract and manifest and change and develop. And, you know, in this sort of very simple situation, this cat decided, this is what I want. It doesn't matter what it looks like. This is what I want. It gives me more than, you know, it takes from me. So, yeah. I
Well,
like
we've had NIDOC week here in Australia, and it's a celebration of Australian Indigenous culture, Aboriginal culture. And, you know, for a lot of Indigenous people, they're living half in our world and half in their traditional world, which they're still very much connected to. And there was one thing I was watching the other night, and the guy, who's a very famous actor, he was with his family and they got in the car and he said, I just want to go bush. And they go walkabout, they go bush, they go out into the bush, and they live off the land, and they don't worry for anything. It's all provided, but it's also, they're connected with the consciousness of everything when they're doing that. I don't want to put too many words to it, like my words, because there's something there that everyone can connect to regardless of what the words are. There's that interconnected web, and you might even notice yourself. Oh, my dogs are barking in the background if you can hear it. You might notice yourself where things can just be provided for you in life. Things just arrive. And the Australian Indigenous people very much connected with that, with their culture. And I think we all have a lot to learn from their connection to themselves and the land and the animals.
You know, one last thing that came up for me was, no, I kind of forgot it again, but it's, yeah, right, now I've got it. The rescuing. Sometimes we look at animals, especially, you know, we have to rescue street cats, we have to do this. And this showed me again, not every soul wants to be rescued into our universe. A lot of them do, and some don't. And it's the same with people. Some people want to be rescued from a situation, and some people don't. So for us to look at that, it's kind of good to have this kind of in mind. Not everybody wants to be rescued, because they might be happy where they are, or needing to work through something. So,
they might want to rescue us. I have another message from I connected with the great cats. So I had like the little Delilah, so she was like almost the feminine aspect of the cats, and then it was a very masculine and steely lynx that came in. And I know that the great cats are very active with helping awaken human consciousness at this moment in time. The lynx said, we are mainly watchers and waiters, and we are waiting for a great change. You are our brothers and sisters, and we want you to see that.
So there's this connection again. There's this kind of, we are not alone, and it's not us and them. It's this is what I also kind of picked up in my messages. It's the cats are not seeing themselves different from us, not sort of cut off. And sometimes what we see, what I see in the media is that it's us and them. And it's beautiful to kind of think about that we are, you know, interconnected, and there is this web of energetic connection.
There's that what's that saying? I think it's a Native American Indian saying. It's kind of there, it's kind of gone. All my relations.
Yeah.
Like everything we see are all my relations.
Right. Not just animals, but everything.
Everything.
Yeah. That is beautiful. I just move along here to the next question. Yes. And, you know, any listeners, you can pause if you want, if you would like to ponder on any message. But we're just going to go on so you can kind of, you know, let these words kind of sink in. This is a message that I picked up from a cat that used to live with me, and he's in spirit now. His name is Mushki, and this is what he said to me when I asked him what he wanted to share. He said, "I have wondered a lot in my life on Earth why humans take everything so seriously. Why losing time over thinking about your woulds, shoulds, and musts? When you engage with the energy of joy, you can change your frequency, and magic and synchronicity will appear in your life. But I think humans are afraid of that, so they procrastinate and worry all the time. Have you done something joyful today? No? Then go and do it now. Fill up your heart with joy and watch the world change."
So I know from my BodyTalk work that joy is our natural state of being, and everything else is just layered on top of that. And I recently worked with a client. I have a lymphatic release technique where we can shift a lot of emotion. And she got off the table and started giggling. She said, "I just feel so happy." And I said, that's joy. That's your natural state of being. We've just shifted a lot of stuff that was sitting on top of that. And I think that's something that we can all remember as well, that when we connect with ourselves deep down, there's joy. I think a lot of people are afraid that when they connect with themselves that they're going to be empty.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be unpleasant things, but the joy's there.
Do something joyful. Do something that you like. Thank you, Mushki. So what have you got?
Well, I think I've got some more messages, but I think that they're from Delilah. The way I've written it's a little bit confusing. But it was from the cats anyway. I'm pretty sure it was from Delilah. Anyway, she said, "Tune into the power of observation. Look at how observant cats are. Less talking, more watching. You learn a lot. Be very perceptive of the environment. We shift energy around. We're Zen masters in disguise." And then I said, "Is there anything that she wants people to know?" And she said, "Be soft with us. Most people who have us truly understand us, but people need to be softer with those around them and themselves."
Interesting, isn't it? Because I was just thinking about that. It's not taking the time for yourself, not honoring, like when you need a rest or whatever your needs are, makes you more irritable. you know, comparing to other people makes you feel pressured, or it puts pressure on you, and sort of the result is that you're not being soft with your environment, you know, with your family, with sometimes with your animals. So I feel like there's even a little this is like a story. The messages from the cats kind of form this little story now. So you know, they're offering, take it slow, take the rest that you need, stay with yourself, don't compare yourself, don't go out, you know, find the space for you that fits you. And now is sort of the result of that would be you're softer with yourself, but always also softer with your environment. I like that.
And there was another cat, Melvin, that I connected with. So I have a private Facebook group, and I put it out there that we were going to do this, and if anyone had a cat, to put the cat up. And the owner asked very specific information. So I think she needs an animal communication session for the cat. But I did ask him the information, and I fed it back to the owner. But and this cat gets walked on a harness like a dog, actually. And when I connected with him, he was very big energy. He actually felt like he thought he was a dog. Like he had a lot of very strong energy around his chest. But I won't share everything that he he said he enjoys being out and about on the lead. But he said, so he was a rescue cat. And the owner was asking, like, does he want to deal with the trauma from his past? And when I asked him that, he said, I only want to deal with the trauma from my past with someone trustworthy, which I thought was a really interesting message.
So how can we translate this for us, basically? I mean, trauma, so dealing with your trauma is not something that you should be dealing with lightly. You need to find somebody that can support you through that and help you through that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like, because I work with a lot of people that have trauma, and animals as well. And I think a relationship does need to be established first. It's not just coming in willy-nilly. I mean, with the BodyTalk work I do, I always ask the body, so it is a very respectful way of going about things. But yeah, I think the message there, I mean, that was Melvin's personal feelings about his personal stuff. But I'm a bit the same. You know, I'd encourage people to be very discerning and to choose someone who they feel safe with. And for me, with a lot of my work, my main focus is safety. Like, do people feel safe? Do animals feel safe? And what can I do to make even more of a safe environment?
And this kind of, for me, that kind of reminds me a little bit of situations where animals are not feeling safe. You know, whether that's in training situations or whether that's in home situations or whatever, because, it's a great reminder to I'm not feeling safe. I have a wasp in my oh my God. Anyway, maybe I have to open the window. So this is just a great reminder to have that in mind.
And the realization that I've come to with safety is you feel the most safe when you're not being judged.
Right.
When someone's just fully accepting you for who you are and not thinking that you're broken or needing fixing.
Right.
They're just observing you exactly as you are. So that acceptance of you or of another, unconditional positive regard is what creates the safety. Yeah, because then people or animals.
They don't put you in a role.
Yeah, when I used to do equine body work, if I'd look at a horse and if I'd look critically, like, oh, that's out of alignment, the horse would give me the stink eye, and I'd catch it and I'd say, this is when I was still learning, I say to them, I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I was observing you and I wasn't aware I was judging you, but I was. And now I'm going to observe you without judgment, just like, oh, that's a little bit different. That's just different. I'm just watching. I'm just noticing, without putting, like some of those words like crooked or broken, they all contain judgment. And I know, probably for cats, but even for other animals, they're functional, even when they're not that functional. And that's often the way they are. I mean, I work in the healing capacity, but there's a certain functionality even when something's not functioning that well. And I think it's important for people to see that aliveness and spirit within an individual being and recognize that life force, rather than thinking that something, because it's a very human thing to want to fix.
Yeah.
And that's got its own issues.
Yeah. I have one last message, and I asked the cat consciousness, all the cats, all these sort of consciousness of the cats, why are they sharing these messages? Why are they doing what they're doing? Because I felt that was so supportive, like the messages were very wise and supportive. So this is what the cat consciousness said to me. We're here to support you in your path on earth. We want to help you find your inner peace again. Find that space where that tiny piece of your heart had been broken off when you decided to put outside opinion over your heart and glue it back on. Make you whole again. Help you connect again with each other and with the energies of the universe. Find joy and love. Every cat on earth carries this message with them on every step they take on this earth. So, cats make you whole.
They're so amazing. The more I work with cats, the more deep awe I have for their amazingness.
Yeah.
And they are like Zen masters in disguise.
Yeah.
They really are.
So I'm just watching the wasp next to me on the window. Do you have any more messages, or would you like to? Oh, they're perfect. So you're going to take us through a group BodyTalk balancing session. I'm very excited about that. And so
I'll just do a very short mini balance using the BodyTalk system. So the purpose of this balance is going to be to integrate ourselves with the cat consciousness, to connect with the cat consciousness, which includes the great cats and domestic cats as well. We're going to go into the spleen organ. So the spleen organ has quite a lot to do with sugar metabolism, and from a BodyTalk perspective, it also has a lot to do with our lymphatic system. And when the spleen's a little bit unbalanced, it tends to be associated with the emotion of worry, and particularly worry coming up into the mind. And when the spleen's nice and balanced, then the worry can stay in the subconscious mind, and we can just get solutions coming to us rather than having to think too much about the future or the past, and worry ourselves silly, which is a bit of a wasted energy for the body. This is particularly looking at when we're sitting doing nothing and our mind getting taken somewhere else. So rather than being present with ourselves, there might be that thought, I need to keep busy. So we're looking at orientating that to this. So looking at finding more peace and stillness when you're just sitting down and resting. And we're wanting to release the emotion of worry, particularly in that moment. We're going to link through to a point that's an energy point on the body. We call it the pancreatic reflex point. It's also known as spleen 21. It's located on the left side of the body, just about a hand's width underneath the left armpit, measuring down about an inch and forward about an inch. So if you're a woman and you've got an underwire bra, it's normally located just underneath the underwire bra. And often if you haven't explored in that area, you might find a really ouchy point. So you put your one hand underneath the arm and then measure down about an inch and forward about an inch under with that other thumb, and then find that point underneath the, can you find it?
Maybe.
I'll just guide you there because anyone that's listening can find it as well. So placing your right hand underneath your left armpit, and then with that left thumb, just about your little finger, place it underneath your little finger and then move down an inch and then forward an inch. And then have a little explore there. It's normally under the underwire bra, and it'll be quite a sore spot. Have you got that one there? So this point connects left and right sides of the body, and it also has quite a lot to do with sugar cravings as well. And we're going to tap this out. So if you just like to put one hand, put the right hand on the spleen, which is just underneath the left side of underneath the left ribs. And then the other hand, the left thumb, just find that point that we were exploring for before, the pancreatic reflex point, and just have a little massage of it and create a big deep breath. And then releasing that hand that's underneath on the spleen 21 point, and then we're going to spread your fingers out wide and tapping above the head in a rhythmic motion, just tapping up and down. Make sure you're breathing. And now you're going to tap on the heart, so anywhere up and down the sternum and the center of the chest, tapping rhythmically. And then tapping on the navel, tapping up and down. Big deep breaths. And you can release your hands. And we've come to the end there. So that is a short body talk balance for today. But if you feel tired, make sure you have a little nap if you can, and drink lots of water as well. And I'll just also let people know that sometimes with this form of healing work, there may be a slight exacerbation of some problems as part of the body's own natural healing ability. But what we've done is we've just brought information up to the surface, and through doing that, it enables the body to do its own healing work. So anything that's happening is your body doing its own healing work.
Thank you so much. That was lovely. I really enjoy your balancing sessions. You know, this is the second time that we're doing this. Thank you, Melia, for today. I loved the messages. I loved how they sort of interacted with each other and build on each other. So that was really, really nice. Thank you. And next time we're going to have the horses here. So we're going to hear from what the horses would like us to know. And we'll be channeling messages again. And there will be a little group balancing session at the end. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thanks, Miriam.
Bye.
Bye-bye.